with a crown above it, and underneath is the royal motto, Dieu est mon droit, God in my right. This is interesting. This postdates the battle, but it's sort of interesting because this is an officer's belt plate from a shoulder belt of the 1st West India Regiment, and it's got the Napoleonic battles on it. It's very similar to what the War of 1812 version would have been. The other ranks was actually oval, the officers square like this, but for the War of 1812 there was no enamel and it didn't have the battle honours, and the crown was very slightly different, Georgian. This is an officer's fitting from a shoulder belt, which would carry the sword, but this is for a light infantry officer, and the little ring at the top there carried a chain which had a whistle on it. The light infantry did, they gave orders via the whistle. Sometimes in modern reenactment you get people saying, oh, I'm going to be light infantry because they can do whatever they like. Well, no they can't. Really, to be light infantry, you have to know all of the standard drill, and then a whole set of other things like extending, lying down, running, all done to the whistle. It's very highly skilled. This is rather nice. It's the a companion's cross of the Order of the Bath. Order of Knighthood, medieval Order of Knighthood, which you had to take a bath to to do as part of the ceremonial. You're supposed to do that the night before, and that name just stuck. But in 1814, when after Napoleon had been defeated, it was decided that many officers really needed some sort of recognition, and so the Order of the Bath, which had been a one-class order, like the Order of the Garter, was split into 3 classes. There was Companion, which was this, Knight Commander, which is basically this badge, very slightly bigger, which hung around your neck, and there was a breast star, and then there was Knight Grand Cross, which was a bit like the old design, where you have the shoulder sash and a breast star and then the large badge dangling off the shoulder sash. General Pakenham was a Knight Grand Cross because he was actually made a Knight of the Bath in 1813 before it was split up into different classes. This one is actually from 1814. It's hallmark gold, and as you see, it's in beautiful, beautiful condition. And these post-date the Battle of New Orleans, but I'm quite pleased with them. This is the Waterloo Medal, and obviously 18th of June 1815, and this is a first type 1830s long service good conduct medal, which differs from the later one in that it has the Hanoverian arms in the center, and I'm quite pleased about those because those belong to, or were awarded to, William Pickles, gunner and driver, Royal Artillery. There are only 5 people with my name at the Battle of New Orleans, and the fact that I managed to pick up that pair of medals is very special. And of course, there were people that were at the Battle of New Orleans who ended up at Waterloo as well. Quite a few of the officers, particularly the staff officers. George de Lacy Evans, who was Deputy Assistant Adjutant General at the Battle of New Orleans. He got his full colonelcy at Waterloo. He then commanded the British Legion in the Carlist Wars and ended up as a divisional commander in the Crimea. John Fox Burgoyne, who built the dam that collapsed. I mean, all these guys were in their 20s when they were here. He was the chief of engineers in the Crimea. One of the most colorful characters was Harry Smith of the Rifle Brigade. He went to India and to to South Africa. And strangely enough, he didn't have his wife with him at the Battle of New Orleans. And I'd say strangely because his wife Juanita went with him virtually everywhere. He'd met her in Spain after the siege of Badajoz. He protected her from the rather hellish rioting that happened afterwards. It always happens after a siege. You read Victorian accounts and it's sort of, oh, you know, he met this 13-year-old girl and he protected her until she was of age. Yeah, right. Well, nonetheless, he did marry her, and there's a town in South Africa which, if you're interested in the Boer War, you will have come across, called Ladysmith. That's named after Juanita, and let's say her husband, Sir Harry, who was at the Battle of New Orleans.
That's great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're very
yeah.
welcome.